All right, good morning. Welcome back to All Cars, No Surprise. I'm John. It is time for another Motorweek Retro Review reaction video. And this one just dropped this morning, and once I saw the title, I knew I had to do it. The 1985 Import Convertibles. Now, I've only seen the picture. Like every one of these, I do not watch this in advance. So I'm super curious what this is.
By Lucas Oil, TireRack.com, and RockAuto.com.
While convertibles were out of favor in the U.S. for years, the open-top faith was never lost by the Europeans. So today, they build some of the most dated and most sporting convertible imports. And not to be left out, a Japanese maker has also adapted one of its more entertaining chassis for the open-top craze.
The name is Toyota Celica GTS convertible, and it's the only hybrid in our review. Officially, it's an import, since the semi-performance Celica coupe it's made from is built in Japan, but the ragtop conversion is done in California. This $17,669 beauty is meant for North American consumption only.
I'll just go ahead and say, not a fan. I've never really liked the Celica. I kind of appreciate it. Wouldn't hate to drive one, but I just don't think they're terribly attractive, and this doesn't really do anything for me.
And it is a quality machine. You can tell by such details as a full inner top lining and good body rigidity. The most unique aspect of the Celica is a hard fiberglass top boot. Made in 3 sections, it's easier to attach than a flexible boot and looks neater. It also takes up more luggage space. But even with the top...
I'd like to jump in there that wasn't a half bad trunk for a little sporty convertible. That wasn't bad.
Down, you can reach the trunk through the fold-down back seats, so long items like skis are no problem. And as usual, Toyota has done a thorough job on its first foray into convertible land. But now, from the Far East to the old world ways of European coach builders, where convertibles have usually meant 2-seat roadsters, England's contribution to our parade comes from the small firm of TVR.
Doesn't that thing look like a Fiat X19 from that angle? Does to me.
Their current U.S. model is the 280i Tasman.
Actually, no, I'm going to interrupt here again. That front there, that looks very, what am I thinking of? Porsche 944. Oh, I don't know. I get a few different vibes here. I mean, on the one hand, this is a little Porsche, a little Fiat, a little Triumph, a little kit car where the parts don't all seem to fit quite right, with a very flat Lotus windshield, it looks like. Interesting. I don't have a lot of respect for TVR. I've always thought of them as wacky and perhaps a little dangerous.
With the convertible version fetching a cool $21,996. Under hood is a fuel-injected Euro Ford 2.8-liter V6 and a 4-speed manual. 4-wheel disc brakes are standard, as is a leather interior, for this is a fast car that goes in style.
Look, I love it. Absolutely love it. First off, actually, first and only, no, okay. What a hideous color, number one. What an antiquated dashboard, but it is 1985. But I love this pod that sticks out. I mean, you could put your nachos on top of there while you drive. No cup holders. What an interesting, an interestingly hideous interior.
In the best European tradition, the top is manual, and it is similar to a Targa top with a hard removable center section and folding backlight. We love the design, but it also leaked. But a far more familiar European soft top, especially at the local country club, is the grand old Mercedes-Benz 380 SL.
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, be still my heart. That is beautiful. I don't know what else to say. That's just gorgeous to me.
Once known as the 450 SL, its designation now indicates a 3.8-liter V8. This year, Mercedes' superb anti-lock brake system has been added, but the price remains unchanged at a lofty $43,820.
That car is more than 2.5 times the Celica. Now, all other things being equal, which one would I rather own? It's absolutely this Mercedes, but this is more than twice what the TVR was. I mean, this is a very classic looking car, very dour interior, but wow, that price.
The top is also manual, but it works so smoothly that you'll never complain. Latches release and attach quickly, and the top stows under a hard hinged cover. It makes for an exquisite package, and though we hear they're a dime a dozen in California, they still provoke envy everywhere else. Envy is something you'll also find in the wake of another convertible from Deutschland. But this one is as different from a Mercedes as a screaming eagle is to a dog.
Oh, baby. Oh, heck yeah. So, love my mid-'80s Porsches, and mostly that's nostalgia from being a kid. You know, the big old whale tails. This is to me, you know, somewhere in the 80s, early 90s maybe. This is the best of the Porsches. They were a little bigger than the old ones, so a little more substantive, but they were also starting to tame their oversteer issue. I don't like the color, I'll be honest with you. Maybe that's a little outgoing for me, but yeah, oh yes.
Surprise, it's a Porsche, a true Porsche, a 911 SC Cabriolet. Take one updated bathtub, stuff in a 200 horsepower flat six, fit one of the lowest fabric tops around, and you have another expensive, in this case $36,450, top-down dream. Indeed, with the Porsche's maximum velocity of nearly 150, the top includes a front steel section to prevent buffeting at high speeds. And that's a lot faster than you'll ever go in this third German-made convertible, the last remnant of the fabled Rabbit, the Volkswagen Cabriolet.
Love them. Absolutely love them. I've talked many times how much I like Volkswagen. I love the Rabbit. I love hatchbacks. I just adore this car. And I'll admit, I've always wanted one of these convertibles. Nothing says, you know, my name's Buffy, like I'm going to take my Rabbit and go down to the shore and go surfing all day, than one of these cars, okay? I mean, this is not a car where you express your masculinity. And I absolutely love them. Absolutely. I don't even care what the price is, what the difference is of all of these cars based purely on desire. This is the one I would choose. Reliability, I'd get the Toyota. I mean, and come on, Toyota for $17,000, they put an electronic roof in it. You know, wonder why the Japanese were taking over the world. And honestly, for classicness, I want to put it in a garage. Probably would get the Mercedes, but this one, heck yeah, guys, this speaks to me.
We just voted the VW Cabriolet as our favorite ragtop in the annual Motorweek Driver's Choice Awards. Positives include a lot of the old Rabbit GTI's performance hardware, a modest $11,595 price, and one of the cutest stances going.
And this thing's 2/3 the price of the Celica. I mean, the Celica's more of a sporty car made convertible. This is more of, well, a family hatchback made a convertible, but come on.
We also like the integral roll bar for safety, although the excellent Carman-made bodywork does suffer from a top boot that blocks rear vision and very, very limited rear seat and trunk space. Now, from a trio of German convertibles, we turn south for a second group of three, from a country that even puts the convertible spirit in their hard-topped cars, Italy. Our first convertible course, this delicious Pininfarina-bodied Alfa Romeo. First introduced in 1967, it's available as the $16,500 Spider Veloce.
Oh, man. Oh, this is a good one, guys. I'm glad we're doing this. So, you know, the comments I get when I do these is people like it to feel like it's, you know, hey, it's you and me. We're sitting on a couch. I've got some coffee here, and, you know, we're just reminiscing about the old days. This is a memorable car to me. My dad had a Fiat 124 Spider, and I've always thought the Alphas were better looking. And quite honestly, until the more modern day, until Alpha really tried to take a shot at coming back to America, I never really thought about Alpha. I've just kind of lumped them in as unreliable. They just fall in that unreliable category for me. And I'll be honest with you, of all these cars so far, I didn't realize there was going to be this many, or I would have not have talked so much over that Volkswagen. Ooh. This is one of the ones I probably would trust the least. Maybe the TVR is worse. And honestly, if we step back and I had $17,000 to spend on a convertible, oh, it would hurt, but I'd probably get the Celica over this just because I would trust it to not break down, maybe rust and the top to leak. But man, this is a memorable car from my youth. It really is. I think it's gorgeous, and I wish they produced something like this. Oh, I don't know. I love this car. I do.
And with reduced trim as the $13,500 Graduate. Both share the same bodywork and top. Even though it is manual, it's still easy to raise and lower, though tough to latch in place. The Graduate differs from the Spider Veloce in having vinyl rather than leather seats and no standard air conditioning.
Admittedly, I think that's kind of an ugly interior. And I think it's ugly because it's old. I don't know off the top of my head the history of the Spider and when exactly. I just don't remember, guys, when the platform came out. But I do remember it. This has to be close to the end. I think it ended somewhere near 90, something like that. But wasn't it around since the 60s? I don't blame me, please. But this is an old platform with, let's say, classic styling, and that dash looks a little cluttered and small and out of date and kind of slapped together. On the other hand, it looks classic.
Stamped steel wheels rather than cast alloy ones, and less aggressive tires. Yes, it is a very old design, and it can be a handful to drive. But like so much that is Italian, it's much more than the sum of its parts, which, by the way, are now covered by a 3-year or 36,000-mile limited warranty. Speaking of Pininfarina, the master of Italian coach builders now markets its own convertible here, the Azura. If you think it looks like the former Fiat Spider 2000, that's because it is the Fiat Spider 2000.
What? Ah, this is the best one ever, honestly. So that is very much like the one my dad had. His was red, but I think, again, don't flame me if I'm wrong here, guys. I'm working off my memory, all right? I think the 124 Spider became the 2000. I even want to say it changed names again after that. This is the car of my childhood right here. When I look back at the cars that made me interested in cars, I really identify the 86 Saab 900 Turbo. That one just spoke to me and my little teenage desires. But my dad had one of these until mid 80s, something like that. I think his was a mid-70s. I don't remember the year, unfortunately, until it caught fire and the insurance company totaled it. But I went from being a child stuck behind the front seats to, oh, this is how a car feels. You know, this... We'll talk more about it at the end.
Pininfarina actually made the Spider for Fiat, but when Fiat dropped out of the U.S., Pininfarina decided to continue importing the car. Only now it has lots of standard Luxo tidbits like power windows and air conditioning. But they don't quite justify its $16,995 price. The manual top is still so easy to raise that it can be done without getting out, but the super-fast turbo option, developed by Fiat Motors of North America, disappeared with the company. And that brings us to the last of our Italian threesome, and yet another Pininfarina Fiat collaboration, but this time under the guidance of the prancing horse. Perhaps the ultimate convertible, the $65,000 Ferrari Mondial Cabriolet Quattrovalvolve. To match his hand-worked body and expertly tailored manual top is a 230 horsepower 3-liter 32-valve V8. Top speed 138, if only in our minds.
Okay. I grew up with Magnum PI. There is something special about a red convertible Ferrari to me. I think this one's ugly. Just going to put it out there. It's $20,000 more than the Mercedes. Granted, it's a performance vehicle, not a cruising to the country club vehicle. I don't like it. Let's look at the interior, but outside, there's veins across the hood. I just don't like it. This doesn't do it for me. And I've got a thought here. We'll share it to the end.
There are 4 seats, although rear legroom is almost non-existent. But each Mondial Cabriolet comes with a legend and persona that suggest only those with respect and affluence need apply. But as if to say there must also be an everyman's Ferrari, we come full circle and back to Toyota for the most unusual convertible import, the $12,568 4Runner. More than a 4-wheel drive, 5-passenger truck, the 4Runner's hardtop can be displaced, with effort, for group outings, although you may never want to see the often unintelligent results.
I have never seen nor heard of that before in my life. I guess the 4Runner was based on the Toyota truck, so that's not a big stretch. But how cool is that? I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted that I've never heard of that before, much less seen one. But it's not even cool. That was hideous.
But maybe that's the best thing about all these convertibles. No matter where they're made, they bring out the carefree side in all of us. They remind us of simpler times, and that makes everybody feel good. We'll see you next week on Motorweek.
So, like I've said about many of these, they could have made that a whole 30-minute episode as far as I'm concerned, because they could have done the 0 to 60 times and the braking times and gas mileage and, on the road cruising, all of this other stuff, real actual interior review. They could have done so much more with that, and I kind of wish they had. But I can't shake the one feeling here. And if you're watching this, there's a good chance you're a fan. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't, please like the video, please subscribe. But I think this video really summarizes in a lot of ways this channel and why I started it. You can watch it. You just watch this and you saw my reaction. Okay? TVR, it's probably unreliable. A Toyota, I trust it, but I'm not excited, right? A Ferrari, kind of ugly. An $11,000 Volkswagen Rabbit convertible. wow, an old Fiat, an old Alfa Romeo. I am absolutely so excited about those cars. If I had the money and the ability and could find them, I would just fill a garage with cars like that. Those relatively reasonably priced cars that were just fun. And I would, probably buy the Toyota to drive on an everyday basis when the other ones break. I mean, I wish they had an MG in here, honestly, or a Triumph. The only one that was really two that were really kind of pricey that I liked is, I admit, I've always had a soft spot for the Porsche, although I hated that color, that urine yellow, and the Mercedes. Mercedes convertibles, certainly in that 80s period, they're all squared off. I just think they are super, super classic. So this was really exciting, guys, but that's what I couldn't shake partway through this. Certainly by the time they got to the Alpha, this is my channel, and this is why I started my channel, is because we see all of these people who are like, oh my gosh, I bought $100,000 blah 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 blah, and I get excited about the Volkswagen Rabbit or a 20-year-old design in an old Alpha. That's cool to me. That's cool to me. Let me know what you think below, guys.